What if falling in love isn't really your choice? What if your brain secretly decides who you obsess over before you even realize it? Scientists have discovered that attraction is driven by hidden psychological triggers buried deep inside your subconscious. Your brain manipulates your emotions, creates fake signs, and even tricks you into thinking someone is the one. And the creepiest part? Most people never notice it happening. Today, we're uncovering 5 disturbing ways your brain secretly controls your love life without your permission. Part 1. Your brain loves what feels familiar. Have you ever wondered why people keep dating the same type of person, even when it always ends badly? That's not coincidence. It's called familiarity bias. Your brain is obsessed with what feels emotionally familiar, even if it's toxic. Psychologists discovered that people are often attracted to personalities that remind them of childhood experiences, not because they're healthy, but because they feel normal. If you grew up around chaos, your brain may confuse anxiety with passion. If you lacked affection growing up, your brain might chase emotionally unavailable people because the emotional struggle feels familiar. The subconscious mind prioritizes predictability over happiness. That means your brain can literally trap you in repeating relationship patterns while convincing you it's love. And here's the disturbing part. The more emotionally painful a relationship is, the more unforgettable it can become. Your brain remembers emotional intensity better than emotional peace. So sometimes, what feels like destiny is actually unresolved psychology. Part 2. Your brain can make someone look more attractive over time. Ever noticed how someone becomes more attractive the more you see them? That's a psychological trick called the mere exposure effect. The human brain develops comfort through repetition. The more often you encounter a face, the safer and more attractive it begins to feel. This is why co-workers often develop feelings for each other, why classmates suddenly become crushes, why repeated social media exposure can create attraction out of nowhere. Your brain interprets familiarity as safety, and safety often transforms into emotional attachment. But here's where it gets creepy. Your brain can create attraction before you consciously notice it. Researchers found that people consistently rate familiar faces as more trustworthy and attractive, even when they don't remember seeing them before. So sometimes, your type isn't actually your type. It's simply what your brain has been repeatedly exposed to. In other words, your subconscious may be choosing your relationships long before your conscious mind catches up. Part 3. Love activates the same system as addiction. Here's something most people don't realize. Love doesn't just feel emotional, it feels chemical. Brain scans show that romantic attraction activates the same dopamine reward systems involved in addiction. The same system triggered by gambling, nicotine, even drugs. That high you feel when someone texts you back, that rush when they finally give you attention, your brain is rewarding you chemically, and unpredictability makes it worse. When affection becomes inconsistent, hot one day, cold the next, the brain becomes even more obsessed. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. It's one of the most powerful behavioral traps ever discovered because the brain becomes addicted to uncertainty. You stop chasing the person and start chasing the reward. That's why toxic relationships can feel impossible to leave. Your brain is literally craving emotional dopamine hits. And the scary part? Your subconscious often mistakes emotional addiction for genuine love. Part 4. Your brain creates soulmate illusions. Have you ever met someone and instantly felt like it was meant to be? Like the universe brought you together? Your brain may have manufactured that feeling. Humans are wired to detect patterns, even patterns that don't actually exist. This psychological phenomenon is called apophenia, the tendency to create meaning from coincidence. When you're emotionally attracted to someone, your brain starts connecting random events into a larger story. You like the same song? Fate. You were born in the same month? A sign. You randomly met twice in one week? Destiny. But your brain ignores all the thousands of meaningless coincidences that happen every day. Because emotionally charged experiences hijack rational thinking. Love changes perception. Your brain literally edits reality to support emotional attachment. And once you believe someone is special, confirmation bias takes over. You only notice evidence that supports the fantasy. Everything starts feeling deeper than it actually is, which means sometimes your soulmate connection may just be your brain desperately trying to create meaning. Part 5. Your brain can fall in love with potential, not reality. One of the creepiest things your brain does in relationships is fall in love with a version of someone that doesn't exist. Your subconscious constantly fills in missing information. If someone gives you small moments of kindness, attention, or chemistry, your brain may begin building an imaginary version of them. You start projecting, imagining their future, their hidden depth, their true self. And the less you actually know them, the easier it becomes for your brain to create fantasy. Psychologists call this idealization, and it's extremely powerful during early attraction. You're not seeing the real person. You're seeing your brain's edited version of them. That's why reality often feels shocking later. The person didn't suddenly change. Your brain simply stopped filling in the blanks. Sometimes we don't fall in love with people. We fall in love with possibilities. And our subconscious does everything it can to keep the illusion alive. But beneath the emotions, the chemistry, and the obsession, your brain is constantly manipulating perception, attachment, and desire. It decides what feels familiar, what feels exciting, who feels safe, and who becomes unforgettable, which raises a terrifying question. How much of love is truly choice? And how much of it is programming? Maybe the person you can't stop thinking about was never chosen by your heart at all. Maybe they were chosen by a subconscious system you barely understand. And maybe that system has been controlling you your entire life. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more psychology, mystery, and dark human behavior content, and comment below. Have you ever realized your brain was manipulating your emotions? Because once you notice these patterns, you'll never see love the same way again.